our game. So yeah, next month. Gloria and on the network team, she's the person that kind of maintains the database for us. We'll have a lot of these blueprints available on the database in the next couple of weeks. I know Jeff is working on kind of like another one of those little kind of like blueprint guides as we get, when we get ready for that eventual launch of the DR Live system. And we do have, and clearly these blueprints are part of kind of our test for the downfall event. So there could be some changes depending on how they play out during the game. So these are, these are not, should be all considered kind of a work in progress. But it's a pretty polished test in that case. There are some blueprints that probably won't make the cut because they've been just kind of replaced with a better system. So these are items that replace all of those kind of generic meals, radiation compounds, the salty components that are now all kind of made as just kind of being part of the crafting zone. So they don't need their own individual blueprint because now you have kind of one blueprint that does them all. And then there's some of those other ones out there like the Archon blueprints that may not return because the Archon story is already over. So not every blueprint will make it, but just looking over the stuff that I have, there are probably over 100 brand new blueprints that no one has ever seen. So, which is really cool. I'm very excited with kind of the stuff that we have. Let's see. And okay, well, we have 47, so we can still do a video stream here. Yeah, the Archon stuff wrapped up last year. Okay, so we're gonna briefly kind of share my screen real quick. Okay, so a resource you can follow along at home that I kind of put together today is kind of a blueprint checklist because we don't have the final blueprint checklist like ready to go, but this is just kind of the list of all the blueprints that we have today. So it's a good place to start. Again, this is a work in progress, but that way, in case you're not trying to remember the names of everything. Now, a lot of the blueprints kind of are still mostly the same, but there are some notable changes. So this is a great resource that you guys can follow along. But now let's go to, we'll have the zoomies. All right. I think everybody see this right now. I think it should be able to be visible, but let's see. Okay, there we go. Now we have 150, so we have people now. All right. So one of the cool thing is, so this is the very first blueprint that we're going to kind of show off as part of the unboxing thing. This is the Artisan Crafting Zone print. This is a really neat kind of replacement for all of those kind of like crafting component items. And so this is a cool example. You can see the blueprints have a really cool background. They're really neat. It's a super cool update to the blueprints, and Michael was very thoughtful, and they've used a font that is kind of dyslexic friendly for all these. So it's designed to kind of be much more readable in my mind than the other blueprints. The blueprint later, question on this, the blueprints later will be on the database, on the new DR Live database once Gloria gets them updated. They're not ready right now, but they're getting uploaded in there. It'll be a similar like kind of search system as we had before. But so if you want to look at the blueprints later, they'll be there. But the Artisan Crafting Zone is cool. This is one unique thing here is the kind of smelt and weld print got worked into this print because you can actually turn uncommon scrap into, or basic scrap and uncommon scrap into rare at this location as well. So it's nice and easy because a lot of these prints, like no one ever had these prints in my history of collecting the blue paper. It was kind of hard to sometimes find all of these ones. The culinary one is very similar. Generic brews, acid compounds, all the stuff that will have kind of the specific needs on how you can actually kind of make them and develop them. So these will be kind of in every crafting zone in every game, so everyone will have access to they'll have access to these kind of blueprints without having to find a blue book, and these also can't be stolen at that point because they're just part of the crafting zone, which I think is a really cool, a neat touch for these items that are really needed for other things. So we have a couple ways places we can start. We can look for culinary, we can go over artisan, and we can go over some of the save the best for last, like the cool necrology prints and things like that. As you there was a file that got out earlier that had like kind of list of all of the blueprints out in the world. And that list is not complete. So if you have that one, these are all kind of brand new. So there has been a lot of changes. So this is the first culinary blueprint we're kind of showing off. One of the cool new things about the culinary recipes is that they all require production resources that can be made with that level of production skill. So, for instance, all the basic ones have only basic herb are required for them. This is actually really, really neat because that was a thing that kind of always kind of caused a problem with some of the older blueprints. Sometimes you would be a brand new player and you literally could not make a brand new item because you could not find the items to do so. The basic brew is going to make 20 mind. And one thing I want to kind of point out is when we have brews is almost all of the brews have pretty much a direct produce more mind than it costs to make them. But there is this kind of concept of kind of like I would describe as kind of farm to table, where someone wants to make the herb and make the blueprint and make the item and kind of generate everything solo. That's not really the design of these new blueprint systems. So, so there is going to be some of it will be more efficient if you have other people that kind of can split the costs of kind of generating herbs and stuff like that. But there are some great ways to recover mind, which I want to kind of talk about. So the intoxication brews are kind of the new mind refresh brew that restores 20 mind, but it's also important to think about that mind is not used in combat anymore. Most of your your interaction with combat is going to be impact skills, so you may not need as much mind as you think you do. I've had a lot of my kind of storytellers and stuff share like they only have 10 or 15 mind on their starting character because they just don't plan on doing crafting. So if crafting doesn't, if crafting doesn't spark joy for you, then you don't have to worry about that. The healing brews, one of the things I loved on this is that healing brews are now applied brews. You actually pour them on a wound as like an ointment or something instead of just chugging 10 monsters in the middle of a fight, which I kind of like the thematic element of that very well. And so all of these will require kind of allow you to kind of heal a specific lineage. Well, you still have to have bottle blueprints, but it is an applied brew. The intoxication brews are consumed. But a lot of these are all kind of very similar. The kind of generic brew, the spicy intoxication brew has now been renamed to Hooch, which is just the basic. So Hooch is back from 2.0, which I really kind of like. But most of these other kind of blueprints are very similar. The names are the same. PBR from the Michigan chapter kind of survived the change. This is the kind of new, if you played an old 2.0, this is the kind of equivalent of Turlet Hooch that was back there in the day. This lets you use expired herbs to make an intoxicating brew. Red, do we have a hand?
Yes, yeah. How long does it take to apply a brew? Is it still 1 minute?
I mean, it's the normal time in the player's guide. Yes.
Awesome.
I have not seen any brews that specifically have like a faster delivery system, but Michael might be able to answer that question specifically. None do, or well, yeah. So it'd be the standard one. So the intoxication brews are pretty cool. Um, uh, And so that's kind of in basic culinary. The meals are the next part. So healing meals are available at basic. These are really effective healing. One of the cool things I like on these is that the lineage ones also restore a little bit of mind when you eat them. These need work for the lineages. And they restore 30 body, which is with the rate that you can buy body in the system. It's fairly that'll probably fill most people. So. Um, and then all the print reproduction costs are at the bottom of the print, which is kind of neat. Um, and it kind of breaks down kind of what skills you need, just like the reproduction notes, and then it has a place for the games to kind of do the embossment on it. It's very, like it's all kind of not. It keeps all the rules very thing, and the big thing is like none of these blueprints have paragraphs of text. In 3.0, a really big problem with the blueprints is you have basically like 3 blueprints all on one page that with a basic, a proficient, and a master, and this kind of breaks it out to be a little bit easier. So and the network support team has done a really good job of kind of keeping these phrases for the mechanics down to just very simple, so it can be easily written on a new item card. And most of the healing meals require produce and an herb to make, but they're all kind of the same. And then there's a generic one with the hearty healing meal, which restores body and does an upsurge instead of for a little bit further. You'll see a lot of like upsurge mechanics in DR Live, which I think is very neat. Yeah, it's all around. Yeah, like this is just a very big quality of life improvement in my mind. So when you go to proficient, we do have the hallucination brews that are back. These ones are just simply intoxication and hallucinate. So for the roleplay folks that like these are all kind of still there, but they also restore a ton of body. So these are kind of your bigger healing brews. And this is a great note because now it brings up skilled assistant. Skilled assistant is one of my favorite new changes in DR Live. Anytime if you sit down and help someone make this brew and you have the culinary skill, you restore 2 mind for yourself while you help them. This means you can have kind of crafting parties with your friends, and each of you kind of help help someone else kind of finish the brew and get a little bit of mind back. So if, that would be a question for Michael on Adams. How many assistants is there? All these are generally one assistant, unless there's something that says otherwise. But it's a great way that you can kind of just help out, like during your downtime, help someone else build things and get a little bit of mind back. So if you're, and I don't know about you, as a person that plays a crafter in a game, sometimes the workbench time is very lonely. So it's nice to have a reason and a mechanic for people to come and kind of help you out on the workbench. Yeah, this just says skilled assistant. So, but these also require some of the herbs, as the named herbs as well to make these ones. So the hallucinant brews are cool. Yeah, it only gives mine back to the assistant creator. Like it is designed to kind of like give you a reason to have somebody be a buddy at the workbench, and it is such a cool thing. Now, this is the first of the injections. These are very cool. They take uncommon herb. One of the things you can see throughout the blueprints is that there are some kind of like packets of like common materials. So generally, like a starting blueprint will take like 3 basic herb or 3 uncommon herb or 3 rare herb to make, or 4 basic scrap, but it's pretty stable across all the different blueprints. And Michael and the network support team are trying to make sure it's kind of balanced out across all the blueprints. So there will be some more information there. And then these ones, the injectables are kind of cool. There will be some. This is uncommon right here. The hallucinogenic herbs. I'm not sure on that one. Let's see. One of the new ones, they kind of, if you saw in the first one, we got hands from Scott. Are there any herbs, are named herbs available before Master Agriculture? I'm not sure on that one. In the book, there is only named herbs available at Master Agricultural, but there may be further blueprints coming out that will allow some differences on that. But Michael could probably answer that question for you. Poe, this is basically the same question. So named herb, so produce. So as we go through this, produce is going to be one of those things that, as we kind of think of the monsters in the world of DR Live, are kind of a vital part of the economy. As you've probably seen in the initial stuff, the zombies tend to drop currency. Raiders tend to drop scrap, and critters will tend to drop produce. There are a couple of items that make produce off of impact skills, and those can be acquired at much lower levels. But also keep in mind that a new character starts with 50 experience points, and you can buy up to Master Ag on your at character creation. You can be that super farmer right away. And with the skilled assistance, you're going to be able to kind of back it up. Now, one of the new changes that Michael kind of told me about this week is that one notice on these performance enhancers is that there is 2 herbs, a chervil or the geranium, and this is kind of you can use either an in-season or an out-of-season herb on some of these brews, which is really kind of cool. They're not limited to just one brew. So if you're in Texas and you don't play for 4 months over the summer, you're not suddenly having to try to figure out how to get that one herb in the 1 month of time you have left on there. So that's very kind of a very welcome quality of life improvement in my mind. But the performance enhancers, these kind of replace the recovery injectables. They all have the same first suffix. Like the Backroad one is kind of the similar as one of the other blueprints that exists, but these let you get back impact skills. This will be a big part, I think, of the of kind of the having items to kind of do in combat, because you'll be able to kind of restore that. But it's worth noting that if you don't, these are kind of when you're gone, when you're empty. You want to use these only then, because otherwise you can any skills that you have not expended are lost whenever you use the injectable. So kind of use up your awarenesses there, or otherwise if you have 1 use left, you're just going to reset to 2. Yeah, so but all the performance enhancer, there's a performance enhancer for each performance enhancer affects 2 skills. So balance and takedown, enhanced movement and salvaging. So you'll probably have your favorite performance enhancer that you want to have for your characters based on the impact skill that you use the most. And then
Andrew has
say this to
hand.
Okay.
With,
Yep, let's hear.
as worded, is that 2 uses of awareness and no blinding in any combo, or regain 2 uses of both?
I think it's 2 uses of both. Which is why it's important to say, if you haven't expended all of them, it kind of resets you back to 2. 2 uses of both. Yep. And Michael confirmed. Awesome. So we have so that's most of the new injectable brews. The proficient meals are where we get the Minder Fresh meals. And this is where you can get a ton of mind back. These are really cool because you get a 40 mind and an upsurge 10 whenever you eat the meal. So that means, because you get uncommon herb for 10 mind each. It takes about 30 mind to make this meal, or 40 mind to make this meal, and you get 50 back. So, and if you acquire the herbs through, say, a friendly critter, then or the produce like a friendly critter, then it's even cheaper. And all of the recovery meals have kind of skilled assistant on them. Generally, you're going to have skilled assistant on proficient level and higher blueprints. Though there are some room augments that let it happen. Like the Glitter Gulch Prep Station lets you do skilled assistant even on basic brews. So, And meals also last 3 months now, so you don't have to worry about doing a deep curing, a fried procedure to try to to try to get the meal to last a little bit longer, which is nice. Truffaldino's question, I might have to ask Michael on that one. But these take a bunch of different produces, so it's not just it's just one of the three. So like whichever one's most convenient or what you found. So it means that your produce will likely work in a bunch of different prints. Okay, so we gained just 2 extra. Perfect. Okay, so what you mean by that, Michael, is you just can't go. I can't, like, if I have 3 uses left, I can't take an injectable and suddenly have 5. I'm still capped at whatever my 3 uses are. Okay, neat. Awesome. So a lot of these are kind of the very similar. All the skilled assistant bonuses are 2 mind, though there could be something that changes that in the future, but not that I've seen. Okay, is where we start adding in some poisons. But the goal is to try to keep these to keep the blueprints a little bit easier, so you don't have to kind of memorize a different rule for every different thing. So, so the Gravehead Death Brew. This is a change. Right now, I've only seen just the one Death Brew, but this does kind of everything that was the Death Brews that worked with Death Brews in the future. So there's not like a lineage Death Brew currently. That's in the list. But there's going to be more blueprints loaded, and you'll be able to see these blueprints on the database once Gloria gets them all uploaded in the very near future. But so for I know it was always kind of a challenge for some of the folks that wanted to kind of follow their friends in the grave mine, trying to find the specific brew that worked for that specific person. So now just having kind of one brew to do that. But keep in mind, fractures are way more dangerous than DR Live, so taking a fracture to kind of get this in there is going to be kind of a choice. Loomis and Liqueur, one of the DR Texas prints that we introduced during our Deadman's Handmaid, is still there. Lets you irons kind of change the color of your glow, which is always a fun roleplay brew. And then the generic kind of recovery brew, this lets you kind of just get 40 mind back right away. But this is one of those one where you're kind of storing mind more so than you're kind of making more mind back. But remember, with your skilled assistant and other meals and stuff, these brews will be useful when you have to go into kind of a sudden crafting session and kind of sit up there. So they can kind of, I think these will be really great when you get to like the end of the game and you still have some mind left, kind of turning those into kind of some brews to kind of save some for the next game. Spirit Walk is still there, and Uncle Todd's. The weird little thing for me was Uncle Todd's is now kind of a master brew instead of like the basic brew that everybody does. But it's a huge brew that heals 40 bodies, so that'd be great for those fighters out there. And so there are a couple of duplicates of the blueprints right now. So that's kind of all. Master Culinary. The other cool thing is there are some new poisons. There's some new meals and there's some new injectables. At this level, at Master, you start getting into injectables that let you regain profession impact skills. So these are kind of work very similar as the performance enhancers, but they'll work to upgrade, kind of give you back your profession upgrades. These will generally require shellfish, so not everybody's allergic to shellfish anymore. Sometimes it gives you a performance boost. And so then you can get like Shield Master and Mangle, so you can get some more uses of that, especially since profession skills are a little more expensive to purchase like extra uses of. These will be very, very useful, I think. And so you get some, and this one gives you like ground and pound of momentum. And so there's kind of a recipe for every profession. And then you do have the Red Mist Healing Injection. This is the big injectable, and this is the one injectable that causes a fracture. So you can get up fast and have a couple hits to survive the next one, but this is the one of the injectables that actually causes a fracture specifically in the rules. There were some questions on the from some of our players on the DR Live mechanics at our last DR event that we hosted. And then the Ruiner one, Silt Step. I love the names. Jeff, Blueprint teams that are all, and Michael all have some really cool names for all the combat enhancers that I like. So everyone has kind of a specific combat enhancer for you. And Red Mist is people again. We'll go over that when we get into artisan blueprints. Red Mist, crystal candy and stuff, I'll use meaty bits, which is people. So just if you were back here in the old world, that was kind of how it was and how it is now. The top level recovery meals are all brand new, and these restore 60 mind and upsurge 20. This is a huge amount of mind back, and so these would be kind of your top end of your mind restore options. And these, well, they take a little bit more, and these do actually need the component items that you can make at the crafting zone. But they all use kind of a different crafting component for those. And then poisons. The poisons kind of stayed mostly the same, but for particular people that are have those particular skills, all poisons now do as either applied poison or as an ingested poison, which I really like. This gives you some options to kind of complete those missions for those certain masked individuals that need to kind of do things in the secret. And particular note, whenever you use an applied poison, if you have piercing strike, it doesn't use up your poison on piercing strike. So this is a great way to do some spike damage to your preferred target. And they all have the skilled assistance as well. But when you make them, you have to kind of pick which one you're going to do. So these are very you have to be kind of plan ahead. So, but it's this is one of the only blueprints that I've seen that kind of makes like two different options when you make it. Yeah, poisons definitely make a piercing strike way cool. There's also a poison for raiders. This old arsenic poison used to be kind of a generic poison in the old world, but now it does poison damage to raiders, which is kind of cool. And you can also use this to kind of pour in their kind of the raider brews if you have that stealth mission sneaking into a raider camp to kind of poison their food. Okay, so yeah. And then there is a zombie poison. This is the only one that you can't make a zombie drink something. It's the only one that's just an applied poison, but it is a good poison for all you Fallow Hope out there to kind of make sure you can kind of strike down the undead faster. And then for all of those kind of fun things, there's actually an aberrant poison. So Mind Killers Rejoice. You do body damage to aberrants or drink. So be very careful about what you drinks because it's going to be important there. Ren, you have a question?
Yeah. How long can a poison stay on your weapon? Could you have a dagger that you only use for
That's
piercing
in the
strikes and then never use it as
no,
a skill?
no. I mean, like they last for a certain time. It's in the player's guide. I
Let me
can,
go find that.
yeah. It's in the items section in the back where it talks about like how items work. So, it's good. It's good for like for a little while, but like poisons, applied brews. It's on the next strike. The piercing strike is what doesn't reset it. So, but a normal strike would. But Michael may have a more specific answer on that question. He's typing now. So, but I love the train. I love the new poisons. There's a lot of cool things. So, so go down the list. The benedictions are really fun. Probably now every benediction has like a couple new benedictions. Not all the ones that were released have made it here yet, so there's still probably some more to come. But I love the kind of that every background of the blueprints has kind of like a different kind of design for it, which is very cool. So this will let you kind of let all the drugs last for longer, but shortens the expiration date. So when you have need to restore a lot of a lot of mine fast and use your crystal candy, this is a great way to do it. Piercing strike. Yeah, so yeah, piercing strike. The rules for the poison are in there. Yeah, it's not exploded with the temple, with the attempted strike and be carried to the next strike. So if you had 5 uses of piercing strike, the poison will let you do the 5 uses. But once it's done, it's kind of it's over. So for a fight, basically, right, Michael? Okay. Yep. Yeah. Poisons are neat. Previously poisons. Let's see. Here, I'll let Phil say something here.
So I think the question is more, can you apply a poison to a weapon, right? And then you only use it for piercing strike. Will that poison last like into the next event? I think that's really where the question was going.
I think that's
Yeah,
the rule 3 in the book.
Exactly. In that case, the answer is no. It
Yeah.
would unapply at the end of the event if you never use it.
Well, that's a good note to take for future stuff. So yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Phil. Phil is one of our blueprint folks, so they're kind of the in the kitchen, as so to speak. So, Active Aeropistus is pretty cool. Benediction of Grace. This is a one that kind of stayed from the previous one, though there are a few changes that you kind of upgrade all of your meals. But this also upgrades your generic meals. A good note about generic meals is that these are required in order to sell like real food in the game. So this can be a great way to kind of make those like a minor buff as well. For when you sell your cookies or things like that, if you're nuclear family. So nuclear family cookies are better than other cookies. It's now a fact in the rules. This is a really fun one for the people that are cults. Cults now have support. So if you are in a cult, there are ones that will let you kind of corrupt other benediction to kind of use the benedictions for yourself, but have a completely different theme. So cults have to be approved by your branch, though, but then they cost resolve as well, an additional resolve. So these are a very cool way that you can kind of create your own custom cult with its own kind of faith rituals. And then benefit induction, when someone is initiated into a faith, this is kind of the way to kind of baptize one. The cool thing on this is that there is no resources cost for this. It's just time to kind of you spend like 1 mind for if it's just one person, you can just baptize them for free. But if you want to baptize a lot of people, you can baptize like 5 people at once. So if you want to form a cool Mortis cult, like Katie said, there's some very neat benedictions here. This is the Hedon one, which is the same one as from the that was released in. The benefit of the chosen enlightened. This is another one of the cult face. This one lets you kind of induct people into your cult. Now this one is kind of like the private baptism and stuff, but it does let you kind of perform other benedictions as well. And this will be. I know we have a lot of folks that like the cults, but it's going to be kind of everything. And then the benefits of the Heretics Masquerade. This is a brand new one. This one lets the faith person lie about their faith whenever they use malicious discussion or faithful will. So there are ways to kind of to not tell the truth on those ones, on those skills, which is very cool. But this will be great for like if you're, and especially now, this is for the heretical devotions and final nights. So now if you're in the member of that nemesis cult, you can kind of pretend to be something else, and kind of hide your faith. So yeah, and Katie does say that the faith book is coming right after the Black Market book, which will be kind of out probably sometime next year, I would imagine, but at this rate, but maybe faster. Yeah. But we're gonna give them time to cook. So benefits related to Abyss is the same as it was in the previous world, but this lets you kind of so a lot of the benedictions did kind of come over, but not every. There are like a lot of the new blue benedictions that came out at the start of like last year, when Jeff Dahl ran that game, the national event there. Only a few of those have made it over to this pile, so there's still some more to come. But the Blessing of the Lord Commander Armory, that's one of my favorite ones. You know, I have a Fallow Hope character, so this will make all of your stuff immune to break for an hour, which is pretty sexy. Especially since it doesn't have like any kind of cost. It's just they have to be part of the Fallow Hope. So, yeah, but again, so a lot of these are still there's still some changes to come. But the Fallow Hope print is great. Clara the E4M, the Eon. I don't know how you pronounce that. But this E4M, yeah. This lets you use the Pact of Silence from the Criminal Influence skill. E4. Okay, I got it. Yeah, E4 Mafia, got it. Okay, that's yeah. I love those little jokes. So we have the Desecration of False Truths. This is the other Final Night skill. This was in the previous editions. Devotion to Free Radical. This is one of the new Darwin ones, where you can reduce your radiation rot and reduce radiation damage. So, you know, if you wanted a way to kind of purposely inflict Savannah's blessing on yourself, you now have ability to do so. Though that was actually kind of thing. It's kind of hard for the Darwins to like purposely infect themselves sometimes. So this kind of gives you a way to kind of do that. And then, but you also get to be kind of a different lineage, which is neat. The Lighting the Lanterns is kind of a same one. You can kind of this also lets you use. This one's really nice because it lets you use more first aid and drag handle by using your other skills. That's going to be sexy for the Sainthood that want to be kind of the combat medics out there. Opening the Pit, the same from the King's Court. This lets you kind of do the first aid and biogenetics. Yeah, as a King's Court fan, I'm a very big fan of this. And you can use your first aid and biogenetics instead to do violence, which is great. So it is perfect for the violence amplifier in your life. And let's see. The Final Night Doctor. Yeah, the Promise of the Nuclear Home. This is kind of a new. This is a little bit changed. Like I think this one kind of may replace like the Vow of Matrimony that was released at one time, because this one lets you kind of do to a bunch of inducted people in the nuclear faith together to let them upsurge and prevent when they're with their partners. So. Okay. We have a hand from Ren.
Yeah, they're not ever from me. I'm
I know.
interpreting the hands to. Does this let them use the skill if they don't have the skill?
I would imagine not.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Nope. It lets you use your other pack skills to use your profession and pack skills, which is a pretty big use. That kind of lets you do those really cool things for a while if you take time to do the benediction ahead of time. So it's really neat. Yeah. Especially again because like a lot of those profession skills are very expensive to buy for XP, so you may not have as many of those. So imagine I can now suddenly turn my first aids into drag handles. That's a great trade that'd be another good way to kind of encourage people to come join your faith, because you have the cool benedictions. This one lets you kind of do your kind of rite of dominance to see who's in charge. Yeah. Rite of Chosen Alignment. This is another one of the cult ones. This lets you kind of that's a repeat. We already talked that one. Rite of Consecration, same as before. This will let you kind of set up your area that will be kind of your consecrated zone. I imagine when we get that faith book, you might be more reasons to kind of want that. The Ritual of the Yeah, Rite of Dominance. No more. We are all the highest ranked. I love that. So the Ritual of the Critical Reactor, for this is one of the new Darwin ones. You can let your next strikes do rad damage, and then you can explode in rad when you go into bleed out. And and if you don't use them all, it gets even bigger. So that means you could do what 35 rad on an explosion if you wanted to. Oof. Don't piss off the Darwins, is what I'm hearing. Scrambled signals. This is for the TV. This is the one that lets them kind of not be able to learn a secret and not being able to reveal it. And this is very kind of cool. And this one was one that was in the previous blueprint drop. Stay in the Peaceful Vigil. This is also the one that lets you. This also is another one of those ones that lets you kind of you can kind of give your alert and double taps to someone else through your lantern, which is very cool. This is a great way for like help out like a brand new player and give them like, hey, you're on double tap duty. Here, take this, and kind of send them out with a lantern to make sure the zombies stay down. And then Stepping Beneath Firelight Shroud. This is probably one of the really cool tribes ones that lets you kind of stay in stealth and then re-enter stealth as long as it wasn't like as long as you didn't enter combat. So you can kind of communicate with your team and all stay in stealth. This is I know Jeff Thelen probably was behind this one, but the pre-show ritual. This is one of the new. I love this one for the KC because now you can interfere impact skills on someone in line of sight, so you can kind of protect your whole team whenever your whole band can kind of go into fight and work together. Should be a May. I mean, there may be a slight wording changes on these. I'm not sure on Truffaldino's question. Yeah, you're still only allowed one upsurge, so you're going to have to pick and choose which upsurge you want. So there will be some kind of choices for upsurges now. Because previously there was only a handful of upsurges you would want to do. So now that's actually like there's a reason to kind of want to get new upsurges and things. And the Seasons benediction, yeah, you don't have to be a Seasons participant in that, which is neat. Turning the Seasons wheel. This is the other one from here that lets you upsurge mind and body. Kind of. This is very similar to the faith skills. But lets you kind of let everybody kind of participate in giving the points to get to pump up someone else, which is kind of neat. But this would be a great to kind of for when you need to pass over the seasons of the New World. Voice of the sponsors, another TV one. I know Noah will probably like this. You can enter a fugue state while forming nonsensical commercial snippets. And then you know knowledge you did not know previously because you can ask the sponsor for help. Yeah. The Final Night one was the Rite of Dominance, which allows you to kind of fight each other and extend the bleed out timer and kind of prove which one's kind of going to be the highest ranked person in your group, which is kind of cool. But yeah, all these blueprints are very unique and add a lot of really flavor to kind of the face. So I'm very happy with a lot of the ones. And then I think the other one was the Desecration of False Truths. Yeah, the Final Night. This is the one this one is really neat for Final Nights. This is a huge downsurge. You can shut down with a psionic attack. You can say no aberrant skill or benediction use, and it has overwhelm, so they have to spend two mind resists to kind of stop it. And that lets you destroy a ritual consecration. So it's kind of this is a really, really neat desecration one. So, you can just cast down those false gods. I'll bring up the father. I'll bring up the stepping the father night shroud. Shroud is self and 1+ target. But you have to use tribes, but all participants. Yeah, there's no limit. It's just a minimum. You have to have at least 2 people to do it. So, but yeah, but that's a very, very, very good stealth one. Yeah. So just make sure you need your tribes to kind of like bless your stealth mission when you go in there. Yeah, so you just have one person that's inducted to tribes, and then everybody else can. Yep. So it's kind of cool. So the benedictions are definitely very, 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 very fun. All right. So when we go into artisan stuff, artisan has a lot of stuff. I mean, we're probably about another hour, so just to go through all these, but just so you guys know. Armor has some big changes. Prints don't expire. I have not seen any prints that expire, at least. Okay, yeah, Michael confirmed it. So this is one of the cool new armor prints. This is your first armor that's 30 armor points. This has the limit of the old like a line holder's plate that you can't move at a walking pace. So for me, this is going to be the armor I have because I never can move above walking pace in real life. So I'll just get extra armor points for being slow. And so this is kind of cool. It runs like the old like iron armor back in 2.0. Yeah. And then the big old overlapping. So there are a couple armors that do 20 armor. There's one armor that does 30, but most of the armors do 10 armor and have an extra advantage. But now, for the first time ever, like these armors, you can upgrade them up to 20 points of armor by spending extra scrap when you make them. And this is kind of a clause that's on all of the new armor. So if you have that cool faith armor or that cool combat medic armor, you can finally have 20 points of armor instead of having a little less armor, as long as you spend a little bit more resources to make your armor when you do so. I like this. This reminds me of the old 2.0 rules where you can kind of like you could have tinkers like upgrade your armor and give it a way to kind of put some rare scrap back into it. This one is great for the last watch. So for the chainmail patient cover, I know Heather will like this one. This one slows down your drag handle, but you're immune to basic attacks while you're dragging someone to safety. This one is really cool for the combat medics because 5 steps is probably enough to get away, but it lets you kind of get in and get out. So this is a really needed item for that kind of combat medic roleplay. And you can get it up to 20 armor now instead of just being at 10. Haven't got our vehicles yet. They'll be up next. Fast mover vest. This is kind of the same one as before, but you can do agile movement to get out of an AOE. So if you have that profession, it's going to be great. First responders gear. This is another one of the. You need avoid and first aid to do this, though. But this lets you use first aid, and you can avoid while and not interrupt your first aid. So you got a good choice. Do you want to be kind of the combat medic that runs in, or the person that runs in and heals? But it does need 2 skills to use. So if you this is another one cool like a medical roleplay. Like so, this is probably the standard doctor armor in my mind because it just lets you use your first aid in combat and still have a way to kind of save yourself from being interrupted. Yeah, I really like this. Is one of the brand new armors that's out there. The bullet sponge. This is kind of you can get range weapon damage reduction. For the next 3 hits by when you spend avoid, which lets you kind of avoid some of those guns. It's going to be really neat. And this one just needs avoid to use, so it's kind of an option for that. Tactical armor. This is going to be probably one of the more common ones because this lets you kind of load a brew in. This is the old veteran skill that you can have in there, but you can put 1 brew in the armor, and then you can turn a brew into an injectable. And remember that you can make those like 10 body heals for like 3 basic herb. So this is a really efficient way to kind of get an injectable function without having to need to have an injectable. Let's see. Wrathful Robes is one of the last new ones. This is Faithful Will, but this is a new, by the sound of my voice, all undead and non-users' faith terror. I'm sure there's going to be some Final Knights abusing this one to to scatter a group of people after giving a speech. It does take 2 minutes to activate, but fallows, but like this is a really fun skill if you're one of the faithful folks. There is armor phys-rep requirements in the book for Brad's question. Well, there's 10 points of armor that you can make them with less armor if you want, because they start at a lot of these start at 10 armor and then go up to 20 only if you upgrade them when you build them. So you can have light armor if you want to. But that's a cool. Reliable doesn't. I don't. The tactical armor. Yeah, it doesn't. Armor just works. So armor should be a 5% body up to a max of 60%. Yep. So all the armors are gonna be kind of cool. Cool to do. We move into bolt action. You got a lot more bolt action stuff. Now, a lot of these this is where a lot of your augments gone. A big thing that changed with these blueprints is all the old augments are kind of gone. They're now like either entire items by themselves, or even sometimes different items as well. So some of these things you'll see what used to be an augment and now they're just a whole weapon. So this lets you kind of do a big scatter shot. This is great makes scatter shot even better, which I'm very happy. Yeah, and it also means you don't have to keep up like tons of augments. And a lot of these items are not super required either. Like you could definitely have a character that runs around and doesn't use any items because you don't, but there is like ammo back that you can kind of keep track of like your next attacks. The compound bow, Billy got a hunting bow. You can do mangle at ranged, which is pretty cool. And or takedown, so you can kind of do either one. So this is really useful for the bow users to kind of control a fight. And the Candlepin Flame Belcher is now a gun, and exotic weapons no longer exist in this world, so they've all been kind of either made into guns or gizmos. But this one's great. 60 damage for 60 damage for 1 resolve is a pretty great rate at ranged. Okay. So the Flame Belcher, Compound Hunting Bow. This is really good because this lets you produce meat with forage cards. And there's some other items that will make forage cards other than just the one skill in the book. So when you have forage cards, there's lots of ways to turn them into other things other than just the natural resources. For 5 you get meat, which is neat. So you can have your hunters out there kind of turn things in. It's still a bow whenever you need to have a weapon to use. The Crystal Focus and Lodestone. This is now a bow. This used to be a gizmo, but now it's for the. You could do line of sight body damage with your sonic skills. And this lets you pick the same target and burn them, because there was always the question, like with the living flame, like I have to create an AoE, I'm just going to walk out of it. Well, no, not anymore. If you really, really want a guy dead, they're going to be dead pretty fast. So for all of your incineration engine folks, this is pretty cool. I think this will be a popular one for the Scions. Go to Gulch Dart Gun. You can do Agony on a trick shot, which is kind of cool. Agony is a very powerful skill, especially in CVC. And then the Harry's Trigger is now lets you do multiple trick shot effects. This is another one of the profession items, which is kind of cool. Let's see. Motor City Machine Gun. I think this might be a replacement for the Requiem Typewriter because it does a similar effect that weapon used to do. But this lets every reload you can do knockback 5. So for the gun users out there, this is a really powerful weapon because it just does the effect. You don't have to spend mind on it. You don't have to spend impact skills on it. It just every time you shoot, you can do a knockback. Every reload, you get to do a knockback. So this will help you kind of control distance and keep that angry zombie away from you. Yeah. This one lets you Dead of Rights do line of sight with Dead of Rights, which is pretty crazy with the mountain rifle. So it gives you back that kind of like sniper mechanic where you can kind of get it out there and don't have to worry about trying to hit with the packet. I think this will be useful. That'll be kind of the choosing. And then this one uses Piercing Strike, not Piercing Magazine. You can do 10 damage. This just lets you upgrade your Piercing Strike with ranged attacks. Just they just do 10 body. So every time you shoot, which is kind of cool. This one is a really effective one because like if you have Piercing Strike and you're not using like poisons, this lets you kind of almost simulate like a lesser poison at ranged, which is kind of cool. Yeah. But it's a whole gun. Yeah. And then the RPG, which is kind of cool. This lets you do an augmented scatter shot to hit multiple people. So this is very similar to the way it used to work, but it is neat to see like another option to upgrade scatter shot to hit a lot of people at a long distance way too. All right, that's all of the bolt action. There's a lot of them, like I said. Engineered spaces. This is kind of the room augments. There are a couple changes here. Notably, the dive bar works a little bit differently. The dive bar kind of fills that role like the Hellscape security station kind of did before. This brings back Barricade. You can now create your space that lasts for 2 years, and you can be able to set up a barricade to kind of protect your building from things. But there is a way to break through it with either break or you can just spend some time to break it down. I think this will be a very popular engineering space thing because like you can just barricade your bar. We have some trauma about barricading people inside a bar in Texas, but this is one of your other econ prints. The foot-powered foot grinder lets you put a zombie into the wood chipper to speed up your agricultural times. So this will definitely be like you need to capture the zombies and make sure that they are thrown into the wood chipper for farming. Wood chip go burr. Yeah, this will be neat to see some of the fizz reps for what people build for this one. It does require proficient agriculture though. The Glitter Gulch prep station. This is what I was talking about earlier. Is that this one lets your basic blueprints build a system, which is really cool, especially since a lot of the brews you're probably going to be making are going to be basic. With this space, I think every town is going to have one of these. This is just going to be kind of a too good to pass up because it just makes all of your crafting easier and lets you give you a great way to kind of involve other people in it. And then here's the Raider grinder, the hand crank flesh chipper. This lets you make meaty bits. Important to note, there's no cost. There's no cost on the meaty bits. So this is a way to make meaty bits for free, provided you can actually take down a Raider. But Raiders are a lot tougher in the new world. But this is a great, free. Yeah, you just have to kill a Raider. low cost. Yeah, but it makes meaty bits are used for crystal candy and all of the drugs. So and because it's people. But the really good thing, it does use a double tap. This is a great way to get a double tap if you can kind of if you're running low on double taps. So I think you'll see a lot of people use the Hellscape Mine. This is your primary way to kind of make scrap kind of appear in the world without having raiders involved. But you can go spend some time and get scrap, or even get name scrap. So this is a great way to get all of the different scraps. Again, I think this is one of those ones that a lot of games will probably end up having there because it's very nice to kind of spend your downtime to get in some scrap. This is like the Sunday morning space, I think. Then we have Monolith Horde. This is a big change on it that no longer does, but this is this actually prevent. It lasts for only one event, but it blocks the doors of your cabin from raiders. And considering raiders are really dangerous now, this might actually be worth investing in it when you know there's a lot of raiders on the horizon. These prints will be eventually available on the Dystopia Rising Live database, but they are not up yet. Gloria is working on them now, so soon, TMCR. But Monolith Horror, I think, is going to be a really useful one, especially for those Raider overarcs. Prayer Room lets you kind of soothe fractures on up to 5 people at a time, which is pretty awesome. It's a really effective use for that. Yeah, because we're trying to get stuff ready for Downfall. We have some time before our game, and we're trying to get the lineage book out. Like they're trying to get the lineage book out. So like these are things that will be ready when we get ready for the DR Live launch, but it doesn't have to be right today. There's a couple of other Jones prints. This one lets you get 2 lores every time you do the I forgot more than you know skill. Start triage is for your doctors. You can use basic medical on 2 targets at the same time, which is awesome. That's a really great efficient heals. This will probably be your standard doctor room or hospital that's in the room in the place. It's just super efficient. So just need basic medical to do it. But since basic medical heals 10 body for 1 mind, like that's great. So I don't know, Michael, is it you get to heal 2 people for the 1 mind, or do you have to spend a mind on each? It just saves time. Spend separately. Okay. Yep. Cool. So very fast. And then it's like the old there was a 2.0 like the patchwork facility that did that. Trophy room's still the same, so if you have your trophy rooms, I know 25, there you go. Your trophy room still does the slow heals. So again, that's not all the engineer spaces. There's clearly some more coming, but that's what we have for Downfall. Florentine weapons, some new ones here. Cyclone sabers. Those use the dead trigger, but they let you do. You can just swing for more instead of healing, which I think is going to be really great for those Florentine to kind of go, wood chipper a zombie. Because all strikes for swing for 5. That means you just kind of go up there and tank them for 10 seconds and try to do as much damage as you can before it kills you. So, yeah, that's awesome. Then we have this one lets you. This is just the augment that it used to be. Whenever you do a void, you get another avoid if somebody's doing a lot of skills right against you. The free ride Hawk Bill lets you do the 3rd strike does Zombie Bane. Again, and this does require the profession, but this is just kind of free Zombie Bane every other strike or every other flurry. So that's pretty awesome. But it doesn't need infection material. Yeah, so this is going to be, and then Hebar's glowing green hatchets. This is when you use momentum, your next flurry you get Zombie Bane. So another great way to kind of fight back against zombies. But zombies are really dangerous now, so you'll definitely want to add some tools to your arsenal to handle the zombie hordes. And the Slappy offhand lets you do the riposte, kind of to go on a second target, similar to how it used to. So yeah, so free iron hellbog is a little bit of a change. Then go to weapons. There's a lot of gizmos. Dead ringers. Critters are even more dangerous. Everything is dangerous in DR Live. It's the best way to survive DR Live is to run away from the threat and not be there. This one lets you do your ground the papal. You can kind of nail them again if someone's trying to knock you away from your ground and pound target, which is really neat. The green light gloves for brawling. These let you use ammo in your punches, Heather. I think this is great. Or Kiara, like this is one. If you have those cool gloves with the shells on them, you can kind of you can punch with a gun with ammo, which is kind of neat. There was a weapon in 2.0 that did that. Heavy craft punchers, these ones. So ground and pound does have a little bit of limitations. That there's some monsters that you have to hit with multiple uses of ground and pound to slow them down and attack them, and this one will let your punchers kind of work a lot better. So yeah, so there's definitely scatter shot knucks instead. Serrated bone knuckles again. This lets you do area of effect nail with the ground shatter, which is pretty crazy. You can definitely make sure that no one's getting out of the fight. This I think this is gonna be a real useful tool for like CVC or those Murder Inc. missions, because you can just kind of hit everybody and make sure they're there. Choking blow, negate all brews used in the last 5 minutes, with which is pretty useful. Yeah, so those are some of your good bone knucks you can kind of shut down, especially since some of the brews can do kind of like cool like effects. You can kind of I don't know if it undoes healing, but I don't know how that would work. Michael might be able to explain that one on the lead wheats. But you can punch somebody in sobriety. Yeah, yeah. You can punch them so hard they're no longer drunk. Steel ball gauntlets are neat because they let you do blinding with your offhand. And you're immune to mangle. Yep. Yeah. Next, we got really small. So on the one that lets you take back the all brews used in the last 5 minutes, does that like negate healing brews? That seems like a weird one. We have to clarify on that one. Oh wow. Okay. Ugh. Okay. Yeah. So you can punch the healing out of it if they're using brews. Man, that's gonna be a CVC tool right there. Shut down brews on top of everything. Deep handle channeling knife. This is your new farmer. This is great for necrology because you can get more grave flesh, but they have shorter expiration dates. This is really useful for the necrology folks to kind of yeah. And then heavy craft. This one lets you do a down surge, and so they lose resolve, but you have to make a taunt. So you got to practice your insults for this one. But that's pretty brutal because resolve is so precious in the new world. That means you can kind of shut down a lot of their kind of like big skills and brews and things like that. So here's for your doctors. Here's your consumable brew put into your next strike. But remember, most of the healing brews are not consumable. But it also uses the brew even if you miss the strike. So you better make it count. That's going to be a brutal one to get hit with a void. So there's your hypo shiv, spring-loaded blade, a nasty spike handguard. You get area effect terror after you kill something, and this uses murder to eat it. So this is real. I think this is gonna be a fun one. You know, every time you run around just murdering people, you're just gonna make everybody flee in terror away from you. I don't know. It doesn't say you can be loaded a brew as an extra. It doesn't say. Maybe that's a note to put in there. Yep, and that's just a repeatable terror. So every time you kill, it doesn't necessarily say you have to have murder to use murder to do the kill. It just means you do a kill. So that's kind of cool. And then this one, I think, is the Skinner Shank will be the criminal tool for everybody. Lets you kind of break yourself out of binds with break. And this is a new death stock option. You can call Blood Rage, stand in place for 10 seconds, and you're immune to all damaging effects. I know Luca will be crazy about this one. Let you kind of hold the door and make sure that nobody can get past you instead of doing death stock. So yeah, it's definitely kind of a very neat skill for death stock. The Dark Harvest. So say if you don't need those imprint crystals or festering crystals, this will let you kind of cut up that body for some just lesser psionic crystals instead. So for posts with dead market, this will give you some versatility to get the psionic crystals for other things. And toothpick cutter. This lets you heal off of raiders instead of just zombies, which is be really great for as kind of a backup weapon, I think, for if you have momentum and dead trigger, so you can kind of but this does limit kind of what you can heal off of. You can't do it off of range stuff basically. But pick sticker barbs. This lets you normally when you do like cutthroat, you don't do the nail portion, and this time you do. So it's kind of very cool. This is a great way to stop those combat medics from getting away. Yep. Pick sticker barbs will be mean. And then the new one, toothpick tri dagger. This lets you add no healing to the call when you do bleeding mark. So when they're running away and you can force them to kind of to yell out to reveal you are. You can make sure they aren't going out and trying to heal. This is gonna be a crazy assassin knife, I think. Yeah. So this will be really good for those small weapons. Yeah. Like, we've gone through a bunch of stuff. This is there are a lot of prints out here. Let's see if we can zip through these. A lot of the standard weapons kind of upgraded. This lets you do no avoid on your mangle when you're behind them. So this does let you do that mangles from behind, which is pretty crazy, especially given how good mangle is. This is a great malicious discussion. You can deal some damage to reduce the time limit requirement. So this lets you kind of do that question before speeds up your time for the Confessor's Spine. Yeah. Collingwood Blade. This is probably the best in class standard weapon. One resolve for 120 damage. Oof. Yeah. This is one of the new weapons, Glabella Cracker Knife. This is you can have blinding and you can slow down how fast they can get away with standard weapons. A subtle suggestion poking stick lets you do augmented movement, so you can go through doors and slip past people when you're getting away with enhanced movement. So I think that'll be a great tool for those Vegasians trying to get out of there. And then twin sparking rods is one of the new ones. This lets you get Raider Bane after momentum. So it's kind of similar to the Florentine weapon, but on a standard one. Excuse me. Yeah. And Heavycraft Cutlass is AoE Fear and 30 damage for spinning a resolve. And then you can interfere in an area effect with associate copies. Pretty neat. Two-handed weapons. There are a lot more two-handed weapons. So two-handed weapons got a big glow up here. This lets you use Never Hear and take someone with you to get out because you hit them so hard. You can take them down and escape with them. That'll be great. I can see some fun mods with that. You can call Nail for on a once per impact strike just for having a two-handed skill. Two-handed weapon, which is neat. So that'll let you kind of do. Oh yeah, no, this one does not say consenting target. Yeah, that lets you like take somebody from a fight and get them away. So you have that sainthood, that Sensorite that just won't leave the fight. You can make them leave the fight now and get them to safety. The Eclipse Act is a new one. Lets you do you can call area effect Fear as part of your Deathstalk trigger, which is kind of cool. Gamses Jones. So this is one of the newer prints that came out in 3.0, but this lets you kind of tell a story to get some scrap, and which I love. I love telling stories like that. So, yeah, and it no longer takes arcs. So, yeah. The Harvester Scythe lets you do, in addition to murder, do 50 bodies. So you can do a 50 body murder for one resolve with a heart with your scythe. I'm sure we'll see some crazy assassins out there running around with the giant two-handed weapon. Yeah, I guess you just yeah, you're a Reaper. This also lets you 50 body overwhelm with a big hit. Yeah. Heavycraft Axe does again 30 damage overwhelm, and then the cool thing on this is you can take a 10-second stun. instead of spending the resolve. So you could just do like one big hit, wait 10 seconds, hit the next big hit. This is like the Silent Hill, like the giant axe knife. Yeah. You can hit hard every 10 seconds, but not all at once. This will let you enhance double tap. This will be really useful for the Shreddzilla Grinders to kind of keep zombies down, because some zombies need multiple double taps to kill. So that'll be incredibly useful. And the Slow Shoots Mass Stick, you can do six attempts, do 30 damage. So this is the most 150 damage for one resolve. This is, I think, it's the most spike damage you can get out of it on now in a two-handed weapon, which is a pretty 180. Yeah, jeez. Spin to Win now does area effect disarm, which I think is cool, but a little less game breaking for like for raider attacks. Yeah, the Gallagher, you can deliver break to an arm reach without having to make a strike. This just lets you definitely break something when you need to break something, which I love. And the two-handed nuclear sledge. Not only do I mangle you, now everybody's taking 5 damage, which is kind of nuts. Mind you, if you're in melee range of a target, you are definitely in your own area of effect target. Let me explode up. So I cast explode arm, yeah. And the weighted bolus ropes just lets you do takedown and hit the legs instead for takedown. And do an augmented takedown. This will be really mean versus some of those shield users, because sometimes it's kind of hard to get a strike off with a takedown on somebody has a big giant shield in their way. But you catch their legs. I'm sure Kiara will probably a monster with that kind of that kind of thing. Shields. There are a couple new shields. You'll notice that some of the shields say larger size, but while the total size of shield dropped down for DR Live, there are a couple of these blueprints you can still keep your 9-foot shields. This lets you shield master a whole group of people. So this is kind of your new like shield wall print. So you can protect multiple people. I think this would probably, if your shield master, is probably one of the better ones. Daylight Buckler is we went over guns earlier. Yeah, we get 1 resolve to reduce all incoming damage by 5, which is pretty awesome. Free Iron Guard lets you bounce. This is kind of built in with like the bullet plates, but it is only the next 3 strikes, so you can't bounce forever, but it does let you kind of do, especially since ranged attacks are meaner. That's really neat to kind of negate all the effects. El Faithful Bulwark lets you block psionic packets with your shield. So what I really like about the shields is that there's a choice in shields. Like you really have to decide kind of what do you want to be able to do with your shield when you do. Soon is the answer for Trent. I don't know. But there, Gloria's loading them. But this is, I mean, we've been doing this for an hour and 20 minutes, and we're only halfway through. So I mean, like, there's a lot to load. You gotta be patient. But this is not, nobody in DR is doing this as their full-time job. So, Shield Master's Grip Upgrade lets you take down an arm's range. Steel Pile Anomaly Absorber. This used to be an augment, but now lets you do balance against a sonic attack, which is kind of cool because there's some mean sonic attacks that do stuns. And this is basically a counter to sonic propulsion or psychic propulsion, which is one of the new impact skills. And then Steel Paw Shield, you're just immune to breaks. I think this one's going to be one of my favorites, but just never have to worry about a break with a shield. But you miss out on some of those other kind of cool abilities. Yeah, and then thrown weapons. Yeah. It's all these weapons are really tough choices. Like that's the really fun part is like everybody will feel different in a fight. I think. Yeah, Anchorfist Hatchet you can call Raider Bane. So this one does change from Zombie Bane to Raider Bane. And then you can do Terror on your Bleeding Marks. This one does Aberrant Bane on your thrown weapon. Yeah. Michael is rivaling like Brandon Sanderson for kind of work ethic lately. So Yeah. So Aberrant Bane, this lets you kind of use your Never Hear. You can actually, this is the same as before. This is still a great weapon if you have Never Hear. Thrown weapon. Traps are pretty reduced. One of the big thing about traps is a lot of traps went into criminal influence. So there's only a handful of traps that are kind of public, so it'd be a criminal use trap. This one does the old like alarm trap, which I love. Big old teeth lets you do a mangle on a trip line, which is on both legs. Oof. So if you're good at that trap disarming, those area effect blinding terror and nail. The traps are great. Like every trap like feels better. Like if I'm gonna spend scrap on this, like it feels worthwhile to put the scraps on there. And there's new container prints as well that actually like kind of gives you something to put on there. And so yeah, there's some really cool gizmos for this. And then this says they're stunned and can't walk at them, so they can't get away once they your sticking trap. Reminds me a lot of the traps in 2.0 if you played back then. Vehicles, my favorite part. So there are a bunch of new vehicles. This is a new ship, 38 caliber privacy pipes. This is kind of like an augment, I guess, because it works with the Angry Anchor workship to kind of buff that. There's a harpoon kit for your boat to get some upsurge armor from anything that's outside your vehicle. So if you have like that kind of vehicle module, it's going to be really neat. Angry Anchor workship. This is the one. Yeah. So this you can when you purchase something from Public Works, like your travel skill, you can have a chance to get money back if you're lucky. And then the privacy pipes makes it a little bit better, makes it 50% or so. Big Ol' Personal Zeppelin, still one of my favorite vehicles. You can bypass enter the game mechanics, and you can bring others along. And then there's a Zeppelin cabin that lets you bring more than that. This one lets Glitter Gulch Raider Ride, I think, is really great, especially if you have a crew, because you can let people of the same society kind of use your travel as well to make purchases. So they cost a little bit more, but remember there's a limit to how many travel purchases you can make. So this is a really cool way to be able to buy produce and all others kind of gears and stuff. The Go Haul Armored. This is like the trailer. This adds to the goat gear, I think. So you can kind of increase the number of people that can do it. And Sidecar Special. This lets you Wheel of Commerce. You can get more ecology resources. It's costly to resolve, but since you can normally only do these like very limited times, this is a really great way to get that last mycelium fibers that you need to build your necrology item. And then we have All Faith and Wasteland Hauler, and this lets you kind of clear the ship with they have to use enhanced movement to get on your ship. And then the tow cable lets you kind of bring extra people along for skipping and walking mods. So some cool things for vehicles, but most importantly, the vehicles are way cheaper because you can get a lot of these mechanical gear systems and stuff with currency instead of spending a ton of scrap, because you can use travel to get them. So vehicles are way cheaper to purchase, which I think is neat. So hooray for all those diesel trucks out there. Last of the artisan ones is gizmos. There's a metric ton of gizmos, and there's probably another 40 new brand new gizmos out of this one too. This lets you do first aid to heal mangled limbs. You can re-roll your basic financial manipulation. Yeah, you can roll twice, re-roll. So that's pretty cool. The safety harness lets you kind of, when you're doing your trap, you can actually kind of delay the trap and get away, which is neat, since a lot of these traps are very, very deadly. So if it did go off, you can kind of take it back. Yeah. And Angry Anchor. This is a change. This is no longer the mess kit, but now it's a supply bag, and this lets you give like the unexpired. This is like the free iron dry pack now, basically. Lets you give an unexpired herb instead of being stolen. Your important items being stolen. The insignia lets you upgrade your rally call to do even better. So for the folks that have that kind of a command presence, it's really neat. Impact skill one. This another trap one lets you kind of reduce the time to arm or disarm a trap. And we think about some of these traps. this lets you kind of put a trap up in 1 minute. That means you could put one of these crazy like leg mangling traps on the door as you run away from a bad guy, and quickly put a trap down. So I think there'll be some ways to kind of get there. And then this one is neat because it's a protection versus pickpocket, so or lock picks, so it makes it harder to pick the lock. The storage box, this holds engineered items, and you can have a trap. So this is really neat. I think you'll use a lot of assassination runs because you can put some crazy traps on it. But it does have a minimum. It has to be kind of big enough to hold in a hand. So anointment oil lets you master faithful miracles be crazy good, but crazy faster, but only hit one target. I think this, and it's only 4 basic scrap to do, so that's pretty useful for the priests. Because I have giant hands, man. Like a 6x4 box is, that's hand size for me. It's maybe 2-handed for other people. This is a brand new one, the antihistamine. Antihistamine spinal spike. I'm gonna have to practice saying that again. This lets you kind of suppress disease mechanics for the rest of the event. Whenever you help kind of suppress a disease, this is really useful for the grand design. Yeah, and the gizmos, most of the gizmos last 12 months. Yeah. This lets you do faithful. You can affect multiple people with your faithful miracles, which is awesome. Ashes of the Devoted. There's a lot of single-use gizmos, though. A lot of gizmos have multiple uses, so you'll be building the gizmos more often. They're a little bit cheaper, but they are kind of functional. Then this Barb Pitchforks. This is great for your farmers. You can use it, pause all your agriculture timers, do the fight, and then go back to farming. This will be kind of useful to protect your farmers if you want to keep them going. Biokinesis becomes an upsurge, which is spectacular. Yeah, you don't have to have MI to be the best farmer. Yeah. And this one is lets you use biokinesis to transfer disease to yourself. So if you're that kind of person that likes that kind of thing, you can kind of save your friend and make sure they don't die of a disease. You just have to take the risk on your own. Bloody Vestments, you can this lets you reroll, but it does mean that you're more likely to die on the next roll. So that one's kind of yeah, it does not say willing. Yeah, so don't let scions touch you with biokinesis if you don't know what's happening. Body Elect Shopping Pawn, like this is a way to kind of you can also paralyze or end paralyze with your cool professional skill. Booby Rags is your new healing item. You can heal 5 body and self-target, which is useful. And it's only 4 basic scrap, so this is a great way to have a quick heal whenever you run out of first aid uses. Brain Disorient, you can do blinding and stun. This one lets you do your psychic propulsion to. I think this is probably supposed to be like Sonic Come to Me. It's supposed to be come here wristbands. This may be an edit, Michael, because I think the psychic propulsion normally does knockback. So, yeah. Candlepin. This lets you stabilize in 1 minute. This is pretty huge for your doctors. I think this will be a useful one because that'll let you, especially if you have that chainmail vest where you can not take first aid damage. So very useful. Canopin Survival. This lets you kind of you're immune to mangled limbs for that time with the profession skill. This lets you kind of yeah. I mean, like there's not a lot of these are great. This is how you can detect those poisons because there's a lot of great ways to put poisons in drinks now, so you should kind of do that. Choreographed robbery pans. I love this because it lets you do the a la mouth to take like your whole crew in through a zone of mechanics. I can imagine some fun heists with that. Some cool stories. This is a dying will. This was an item that's out there, but lets you kind of give undead bane when you give a sermon, which is really pretty effective, especially for those fallow hope out there. I guess Codex Insignias. This one's lets you kind of mark a society membership. This might be kind of useful for like your Murder Inc. Corpse Key Deathgate. I love the name of this. You can when you do drag handle, you can never hear. So this is one of the ones that actually kind of you need to be a shadow and a combat medic, but that's a pretty crazy save. Yeah. Then you can interfere, reduce the damage when you interfere. Yeah. So there's multiple ways to kidnap people now. So I think this is one of the items that everybody's going to have. Crypt Coin is a single-use gizmo that lets you re-roll a 1 on life for life. That's one of the skill that kind of stops you from losing an affection. And you can re-roll. This is just going to be really good. This is like paying the ferryman. Yeah, cryptocurrency. You can do precog at arm's reach, which is kind of cool. This is really cool for folks that have that. That can be useful for baywalkers. So, Dead Levin lenses. This one lets you look inside a container to know what's inside, or behind a door to know what's behind there before you get there. To get your X-ray specs. Devotion. This lets you do the Stand for the Holy, but you can get a reroll on Stand for the Holy, but it's a little bit harder to succeed. Dirt Engineer's Kit. This is probably, I think this is the new exchange rate for forge cards, because this lets you also kind of lets you spend mine to get uncommon scrap or rare scrap with forge cards instead. It's very useful. Master Forgers will definitely want this one, because it lets you kind of just get some uncommon faster. Divination Leaves. You can ask if people are part of your faith or cult. Especially with all the new cult mechanics, it might be neat to identify their secret cult members. This is like your new Thimpire Cipher. It lets you kind of close a container, and people can't open if they're not part of your faith. This lets you professional medical to fix a mangled limb in 2 minutes, which is pretty effective for a single-use gizmo. Like that's when you need to get somebody back on their feet right away. That's going to be super helpful. Don't pick limb cast. Door repair kit. You can just fix doors. It's the same as before. Double door. I think this replaced sturdy door because there's not a print name by that. But especially a part of the, if you've seen zombies now have an ability called Swarm Break Door. Where you get enough zombies, they can break through a locked door, and this lets you kind of slow them down a little bit. A double door. And here's the Doctor's Kit. Doctor's Kit, when you do the Master Medical, you can do it for 2 different people at the same time, which is really will save you some time, especially if you have like somebody that has a huge mind pool. They can help out somebody else by kind of getting their first aids up to those better first aids. Because I really love that part of the Master Medical where you kind of like prep your bandages before you go into a fight. Feels very thematic to the healing side. And the Sawbones Kit still is great because you heal less, but you heal much faster. So that's still fantastic. I know Riker is probably going to be all about that. So I don't want to spend an extra 5 minutes on you healing it. This one is really cool, like if you're fighting raiders, because if you do salvaging, you can not only get a rare scrap, you get an uncommon scrap too. So this is really useful for like the big raiders that drop bigger scrap. For your grave heads, here's a way to you can speak during a gravemind scene when you normally have to stay silent, which is kind of cool. And I'm sure we'll have some people that will take advantage of that. This one will be useful for a lot of like the zone mechanics and local mechanics stuff when those come out. So another cool way to kind of know about lores. Entertainer's Kit still fantastic. 10 mind to give upsurge 5 mind to 5 targets. So that's a really effective way to kind of keep give your crafters one more push to make some other brews to get ready for a big fight. And still good, and it has 5 uses. So I guess you can only use 5 people, 5 different people. Yeah. This lock, when you pick a lock, you take 20 body damage. So you might want to search for traps before you before you do. Falsi's ultimate criminal killing explosive reaction. So you've had the trade cycle equipment. Not only does it, when they steal it, it detonates for 50 body damage on them when they take your cool item. So never be pickpocketed ever again. Yeah. Fucker blueprint. Psychic repulsion for area effect. You can end everybody's nails. This will be really good versus zombies, since a lot of zombies have ground and pound and kind of nail your friends. This would be a great way to kind of break everybody out of a ground and pound. Would be pretty awesome. Final passage pennies. This is the other kind of always used item, because you get to roll 2 dice and take out either result, but this takes a little bit uncommon scrap instead of basic. So, and yeah, rolling 2 dice and taking either is better than re-rolling a 1 for sure. But the final passage pennies will definitely be a way to kind of secure your infection if you want to, or just use both. Yeah. Yeah, because like a lot of the infection saving stuff, you can mitigate some of the chances, but it's never foolproof. Yeah, and he's let you do this one is mean for the we have some people in Texas. I think will probably do some terrible things with this. By my voice down surge, take double body damage for everybody in a range. Oof. That's risky, but it could be pretty crazy. Yep. Yeah, but you're not self-immune. That is absolutely going to get you too. Flask of weasel pheromones. I know Steph was interested in this. You can put your hand above you. This gives you kind of that beg for life. You can just, as long as you don't stop talking, you can kind of, Lenny just can't attack you. I love this one for the roleplay for that one's just great. Fleshbound. This is kind of the zombie gauntlets. I don't have it. There's not a blueprint for those yet, but this is a way to kind of use a crystal to kind of command a zombie to attack, or do something crazy. Like, cause man, the zombies are scary now. So, spending some uncommon scrap to stick a tank on somebody. Yep. Focus Overlord Crystal. Yeah, this lets you get do your pyrokinetics with 10 rad. Yeah. Free iron journals. You can see the factors with financial manipulation when you get your big bonus at the post office. We got you can speed up pick locks. This is produce can have 12 months for your necrology items. Wheels of Commerce have a 12-month expiration instead of 6 months. That's spectacular. Especially if you have Wheels of Commerce, I think that'll be kind of a thing you definitely want to invest in. Glowing Blue cremation kit. This is the nemesis gotcha. I think after you've been killing blood, you could get one more call of dispatch 20 body no avoid. Just to say fuck you if I get taken down. I think this is spectacular for to get one last hit before you die. Goat manacles. This is a little bit of change. It used to be law dog manacles. Now it's goat manacles. These put blinding on while you're under the manacles, which is pretty crazy. That means you won't be able to use very many skills while you're in there. This is kind of your new law enforcement officer kind of a person to get, if you need to question the criminals and find out where they're making that crystal candy. This will make it harder for them to resist. Green light firing pan. You can spend extra mind to do it faster, which is awesome. Grounding spikes let you do you can do a big knockback after whenever you fall down. You fall down so hard you hit everybody else with you. Jawbone bag lets you call agony on somebody that pickpockets you. This lets you immune to fractures from an outside source, which is pretty awesome for Faithful Will. Because fractures are super deadly now. That'd be a great way to kind of protect your people. Here's where you get salvaging to get meat. So this is a produce that you can get with not having a higher level skill, but you can I guess you get medium bits or meat if you're really good at it. This is one of the traps. It's now a gizmo to let, by my voice, all monsters, a certain type of monsters, run terror. So, this one's a spicy one. Your infection manipulator. When you're doing the master necrokinetics, you can swap out the die with someone else, and that again, it could be like, hey, I'm going to take your low roll and I'm going to take the hit, or I can make sure that I don't take a low roll and someone else does. That is going to be definitely going to be a spicy one. Make sure you trust the people you take into necrokinetic scenes. Hijinks Harness was an armor that's now a gizmo, but it now works with traps. You can kind of prevent the attack from triggering. Hunter's Mark, you can slow him down with the Hold the Dork Snare. This used to be an augment, now it's a gizmo. Hop, Skip, and Note Door Mirror. This is the new one. This lets you do, you can use precognition to avoid a zone of mechanics. So another great use for precog. So it's definitely kind of a thing. Just movie nature. This one is amazing for scattershot. Area effect nail, 30 seconds, and you're immune off the scattershot. So this is a great way to kind of get out of dodge, throw in some bullets, and scattershot to get away, or scattershot to keep them on place for like a pyro or something. Crockpot lets you kind of speed up a meal, but you risk it being kind of burned. And the more you use it, the harder it is to use on the next one. Irradiated Dawn Silent Dust. This lets you do area effect terror off your impact shaker, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, Chaos Special. It's changed a bit, but now it's the old kind of the master level of the lockpicks, where you can, when you lockpick, you can do area effect blinding. When you unlock a door, kind of take out the defenders on the other side. I love that. Lobe scrying procedure. If you're messing with people's minds, master biokinesis, you can make it harder for them to remove the block, which is fantastic. Lucky Poker Chip. I think this is going to be for every person that has Give Me Your Kicks, because instead of getting scrap, you get a currency off like a raider. Or so you can get currency off of that you're salvaging. So that's pretty awesome. It's pretty cheap to use too. The new head jar lets you kind of cut a person's head off and ask it questions, but you need double tap to use it. So, and then you get to spend some questions on that. Yeah, there's a lot of coins and pocketable item stuff. This is the Martyr's Lantern. Sound of My Voice alert. This is same as before. Meat Quitter. This lets you get salvaging to get meaty bits from raiders. Here's how you make your crystal candy, folks. This is another reason why you want to watch what meal you get, because this meal removes your mental endurance uses. So feed somebody some tasty food, and now suddenly they can't resist your sonics. Merchant's Monocle is still fantastic. You're gonna get additional exchanges for proficient financial manipulation. Method Identity Kit. I love this one. This is like you can actually give yourself a new memories, a new persona while you're in disguise to kind of prevent. This will be really good for the criminals to kind of protect themselves. Misused Industry Tool. This was like an old 2.0 print, but you can, instead of get scraps, you can now just get metal for the Give Me Your Kicks. So either use your dentistry tools or use your lucky coin. One of the two. You can steal their gold teeth. Yeah. I'm not sure the question on Sunset Dreamer is asking. I assume that when it says 5 uses, that if it doesn't say single use, that's just like the total you can do. Like this one's 1 use, single target. Merchant's Model just says it's a gizmo, but you can get 5 extra exchanges. I don't know. Is that 25 exchanges total, or just 5 total? So total number of uses. Okay, got it. Mulan Camouflage for your snipers. This is great. You can fire ranged weapons for the next 3 attacks when you use stealth, and stay in stealth. Mulan Rude, still pretty great. You can no escape for 2 minutes instead of just no escape. Necker suspension tools. You can get either festering permit. You can get either type of crystal when you murder somebody, which is pretty useful. If you need to collect those crystals for your necrology items. This also, this one's for the people worried about the living experiment, like losing affection. This is how you do it. Instead of losing affection, you gain fractures. But fractures are dangerous and they're hard to remove, but this will help keep those grave robbers at least alive while they're doing the living experiment. Yeah, probably don't get 3 3 fractures just going there. This makes you immune to, when you do last watch, all your folks are immune to cannibalism, which is pretty fantastic. Because cannibalism is now a killing blow. This just means you're immune to the killing blow of zombies. So like that's pretty awesome. Here's a new one for Coward's Way Out. You can be immune to the next attack after you just buddy fuckered somebody. It turns out when you use buddy fucker, people tend to immediately swing back against you. So I love this one. This Prince Terran Agony for a visor. No shit given. Faithful Security Compartment. This one's this is the new box. The thing. What I like about this is it's carry rate 2, so it's heavy, so one person can't run away with it. You can put some item cards in it. You can put 3 traps on it, and when you have some of those traps that are doing like 20 body murders and shit on there, like that's just, if you pick this, you're dead. And this one's a much bigger box in size. And then so for containers, let's do Upsurge. Oblivion's Offering for Living Flame. You can, this lets you do your old Master Pyro. You can do a area of effect 20 body damage while in bleed out, but it kills you. Wrong way, you can not only mangle their limb with your Sonics, you can nail them to a wall with it too, and they can't heal it. Last Oomph Tape. You can do upgrade your equipment awareness and do disarms as well as breaks. Agile movement. We get 20 steps instead of 10 for having some fancy shoes. I think this would be great for your combat medics. Gotta go fast. Brr. Yeah, Ossuary Obole. This lets you kind of also listen in on the listen and watch when you use Necrogenesis. Out of Patrol Labor Contract, I like these ones. Lets you get multiple items off a forage card instead of by doing extra NPC shift, because I know every game wants more NPCs, so this is a great reason to go do some extra NPC shift and make your forage items even better. Upon figure type, this is the reverse pickpocket item. You can put an item in space. So say if you have that crazy crazy murder weapon that you need to frame somebody with, you can just kind of go pickpocket them and make sure that they have it in their body when it's ready to search them. Paradigm Resonance Wrap. This is the other binding thing that lets you do it off of blinding while they're under the faith, but this is kind of the single-use version of the manacles. And then this lets you do teaching skills. Takes 5 minutes less per level, which is pretty awesome. So if you love doing the teaching role play, this is the item for you. This lets you equipment awareness to kind of do repaired. You can repair an item in the fight after 10 seconds, but you can't use skills off of them. But so it's just a shield. But still, having a shield back again is pretty awesome. This is your fish cannon. But you need a vehicle to throw bombs on a brake vehicle. Pointing metal tool. In checkup, you can also learn what aberrant skills they have. Oof, this is be careful of your doctors too, because they'll find out what you can do in a fight after the checkup. Psychic amplifiers, you get sonic drop items instead of just dropping the items. Now they can drop it towards you, which is kind of cool. It's definitely great for telekinesis. Yeah, and then focusing gauntlets, you can slow people down to a walking pace by using your telekinesis on them. Other fun things with that skill. Ruin Star Chart. This lets you, if you do the digging deeper skill, sometimes you can like maybe not get something. This lets you kind of still get something cool off the skill use. Savannah's Light and Area Effect Alert with an awareness. That's pretty awesome. Make sure you praise the glow. Scales of Ezra still. You can't attack your attack and immune to terror. This will be pretty good for some zombie threats out there. Because boneheads were listed in the zombie book, so that'll be probably useful to have. Scarlet Seal Lifesavers, the Red Cross. This lets you do, you can use Rally Call to give upsurge for Drag Handle too. Scout's Toolshed lets you just increase enhanced movement by 10 steps every time for a single use item. This one's going to be, anybody with double tap should have one of these, is that every time you double tap, you regain 1 mind and upsurge 5 body. So you can take another hit or so every time you double tap something. Source path distillation, instead of sitting at a bench, you can just craft the brew, come back 6 hours later, and then turn it in. So it's useful if you don't want to be chained to a bench. But it does take a little bit longer than the normal crafting. Spike Koi, this lets you go, this is your other rally call item that lets them use some other profession skills like ground and pound and mangle. The Forge Hammer, this is amazing for skilled assistance because like when the skilled assistant helps, you could reduce repairs down like to 5 minutes. It normally takes 10 minutes for repair, so this lets you repair in 5 minutes. That'll be helpful for the workbench. And since it's a multi-use gizmo, you may want to like that would be a great way to sell. Like I can do your stuff faster. You can do no avoid choking blow if you're on the rear. With this gizmo, that's fantastic. You get 2 pickpocket items. Resolve fractures for 3 targets at the time. This is kind of like the old the brew that you had to drink. That as long as you were drinking it, you can heal your fractures better. So this is kind of like the group therapy in a gizmo. You can do telekinesis to end nail, which is spectacular. Subcutaneous magnifier. This is the other triad cycle equipment thing. You can increase it to 50 feet instead, which is pretty solid. And then a kill switch also lets it, if the item breaks, it does 50 body damage to everything. We saw something like that. Lucky Hat, one for the books though. This lets you get an extra minute to do that obstacle course or puzzle. I know folks that like to do those kind of mods. This would be very useful. This might be functional for some of the liquidation runs and during downfall. This lets you know what that society membership is. I can see some interesting mods and stuff with this, like to identify bad guys. Parting Gift lets you never hear stun, which is fantastic. Perfect Dose. This lets you do the Corpse Maker meal, which when they eat the meal, they take 30 body damage. But if you don't die, you get upsurge 3 voids. So if you're a big beefy boy, you can eat one of these before you go to fight and just kind of make your medics heal you back up and get some extra voids. Or use it as a fun assassination tool. Royal Flush lets you kind of do more cheating effects. Yeah, because you're putting scrap in the meal. That's why you're putting broken glass in their meal. Like that's why it hurts them. Second spot, gripping gloves. You can use 2 targets for coward's weight out instead of just 1. Oof. Yeah. This is a door should not exist. It's doors are evil and sonic projections of the Graveland. But yeah, no, needs 4 breaks to break a door, and there's 3 locks on it. Yeah, it's gonna be a hard door to get through. You can use take on some extra fractures for yourself. Again, super risky, but that's really great if somebody's about to die because of fractures. Yeah, it said warm break. I should say swarm break again. But toothpick, lockpick shards. You can use pickpocket to get out of a binds. It's kind of like how the Kill Special used to work. And this one lets you use Biogen to do Sonic Heal 5 body, and then you take 2 damage yourself. So you can make some big Biogen heals if you need to. But you'll have to take a little bit of hurt yourself. And then this is your hidden wallet. You can get 50 currency or hide a small weapon on you, which is really great if you have like that small weapon that lets you break out of binds. So that means they can't search for your small weapon and they can't steal your money. And then this one is just 5 mine to get a forge card. This one I think will be very useful. This is probably a much better way to get forge cards because forge cards normally cost a resolve with Proficient Agriculture. So you can go spend some time and actually get forging cards on a much easier way. Fall Picker's Sooth. This lets you make your Alameth better for 2 minutes and 40 steps. Man, you can't get in and steal that thing and out in 40 steps, then you're doing it wrong. Point to try and call 30 seconds after you do it wrong way. I mean, I'd be scared of somebody just breaking all my limbs with their mind too. And then this hits all their targets, all their mangled limbs. Oof. So I need a potato. And then the Wasteland Stalker Cloak with awareness. So that's all the artisan items. Man. So I do have to kind of wrap it up. So like, this is a lot. 2 hours. So we have necrology items. I love the background of necrologies. So a lot of these will deal with the corrupted morgue. If you haven't looked at the Grave Divers plot kit or the Grave Place book, they're fantastic. There's a lot of cool stuff for this. The byproducts are all in here as necrology brews now. They keep a lot of similar effects though. Blue Hugh here lets you kind of set where you start near the beginning, which is useful for those catastrophic morgue spots. The osteotome here lets you kind of use Melissa's discussion to kind of do your brain surgery in a corpse, so that's awesome. And what needs the Wasteland Science here. Clean red byproduct. There's your Raider Rage brew. Gold Fleck, still the fastest way to the grave mine. Yeah. But lets you have those big last stands, which is pretty awesome. But then you're just super dead. Catastrophic Stabilizer. This will be kind of the way that you fix catastrophic morgue veils, because you just have to spend a bunch of resolve, and you can do it over, and it'll kind of keep it down for a little bit. So I'm sure nothing bad will happen to that once in the Gravemind. But yeah, carry rate 5. Yeah, it's not something you can do solo. Remember, you can take 5 people on a grave dive. So this is kind of your get in there and kind of stabilize the Gravemind before the Wahel get you. There's Wahel Zed, which are the grave divers one. They're scary Zed that are. This is a Hellscape Suit lets you avoid environmental effects inside. I think those are probably required for hell dives. And the Lancing Casket. This lets you go to the corrupted bases. You get a 5-minute timer to get in and get out, but you have to have multiple caskets to send the people in. So that plot kit has a lot more information about that. Media Shield is your meat shield. You can heal with first aid, which is pretty awesome. The Miscreation Annihilation Cannon. You can call Wahelbane on your firearm. Cool thing, though, all of these ones that make like necrology items have no expiration date. They have uses, but but they don't expire. So although they need expensive materials, you're only going to have to build them every so often. You won't have them wear out. The brews, however, are limited. This lets you transfer somebody into a zombie. You can remove the lineage. They're immune to lineage bane, but they gain zombie bane instead. Yeah. This is the assistant station. This is the one, like assistant one, where they get 10 mind back if they make necrology equipment. This is the one skilled assistant that is different than 2 mind. But that'll be very useful for your necrology station because you need to make the workbench. This is the workbench that will allow you to make necrology items. So this will be kind of a requirement for people to build in order to interact with the necrology items. Power Mortis is the last dance kind of thing. This is still one of the favorite blueprints out there. Spend some hooch and kind of give them to come back one last time for the next 24 hours. So I'm glad that's still there. Byproducts let you immune to, but you count as a zombie. But which is pretty crazy. Yeah. Raider Biotracker, I think this will cost some. You'll have to plan for this with Raider overarch because you can track raiders back to their nest. And then this is very good if you have some of those raiders like that might grab your people and run, and be able to find them and track them down. Yeah, that's really good for throw kills. Yeah, throw kills would be mean. Stabilized Morgue. Here's how you make a new Morgue. If you need your directors to kind of evolve, but this is how you would like plan a new Morgue. So there's finally a print for that. The 10th Doctor. This is my favorite old 2.0 items, but you can call it Wellhell Bane with your weapon. And then the Vitabit Mortis is the diving into. This is the ask questions of folks from the Grapevine. So that's all the necrology items. And then criminal's weird. There's a lot of criminal. I'm gonna speed through these because I wanted, but a lot of the criminal stuff was repeats of either the buy list items that were made, but you have to have either Black Market, Murder Inc., or general criminal items. The general criminal items can be used by like Black Market items can only be used if you have the Black Market. So if you pick one faction or the other, you're going to lock yourself out of certain items. The 10th Doctor does Wahel Bane. So this one's Chum Bucket. Crystal Candy is the new. This is the new Crystal Candy. You make it with meaty bits, which is fantastic. But 2 minutes to eat and 10 mind. This is probably the cheapest mind refresh out there. So it's still a fantastic use if you're willing to eat people. Yeah, and there's no mind cost in there. Yeah, Chum Bucket was you can walk while you're bleed out, which is fun. Crystal Candy Snack. You can only get from people or raiders. Clip-on nipple rings that you delay a knockout effect. This is a really great way to survive that takedown knockout thing. Street Noble's cap is kind of semi blinding and ground and pound. Trained Mouse Thief is back. This was a 2.0 item you can get on the black market list, and then you can trigger a trap with your small rat friend. They do not survive. Sorry. There are 3 levels of Crystal Candy. Each one does a little bit better, but takes more mini bits. There's like 1 mini bit, 2 mini bits, and 3 mini bits, and they restore more mind every time. So there will be Crystal Candy that is useful for every level of player, which is awesome. Yeah. Rover T is now a huge brew, but it also takes meaty bits to heal. Yeah. Street Nobles gloves let you set a trap in a supply bag when you pickpocket. There's some crazy things there. Someone's water pipe is lets you do the hookah roleplay to make yourself immune to terror, agony, and fear, but you can't walk. You can't walk very fast. And then the wrist-mounted palm spike. You shake their hands and do 10 body and mangle to the limb that you shook their hand. So maybe don't shake hands with people you don't know. It could be a great way. I don't see any mine costs to make these, so I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, but you just have to be part of that. I love the dubious directions at the top. Then we have this one lets you get the 40 mine and but loses a resolve for it whenever you kind of do the top end one for Crystal Candy. There's Ringler's Refuge, lets you never hear and get it to a specific place. Solid Citizen Stone is a new brew that lets you that person that does it cannot use impact skills for 5 minutes, but you do 5 damage on all of your attacks. So this is kind of a good balance. This might be something to use like at the end of a fight when it may be a little while before you refresh your impact skills. Kind of yeah, and we can. Shino's ensemble lets you store things and they can't be looted, so you can save your crystal candy or keep stuff in your hidden pockets, which is pretty useful. And then this makes your mangles do unfixable 2 hours. Yeah, you have to eat one of the wrist spikes, probably. General criminal items can be used by either Black Market or Murder Inc. So this has the lockpicking guns, which are just like the lock poppers. You can lockpick in 10 seconds by expending an item. Cloudy sus bottle. This is how you poison somebody. It cannot be identified unless you drink it. So if you want to, Dead Man's Hand lets you kind of make your cheating a little bit better. Mountain Snap that you can disarm a trap. You can spend the item to disarm a trap instead of spending your skills, so that's pretty useful. And the Lamentful Puzzle Box, somebody's a Hellraiser fan. And then if you can open the box without triggering the trap. So don't trust it. Yeah. General Criminal. Bloodsteel Pact. This one's great. This lets you make your Pact of Silence for 2 hours per mindset. So it's fantastic for hiding your secrets. Final Rest Corals that you do Break Shield and Mangle Limb. That's the old Shatter rules from 2.0 when you use a bow. There's the proficient lockpicking tool, the Vibro Slug guns. Shoe Tack, you can lie after using mental endurance. That's spectacular. Yeah. And then Squirrely Dual Trigger. You can do attach an additional trap to a door. And Warlord Face Spray, you can apply disguise, but you can put a disguise on someone else. Okay. It's useful. So that was General Criminal. That was General Criminal 2. General Criminal 3. 3 more sections. Blind Discretion is another way to kind of pump up the never here. to 2 hours. Private conversations, and the trap checker just to lets you check for traps. This is seen to check for traps, so traps are pretty scary. Murder Inc. items. Murder Inc. items are probably, there's not very many changes here. These are all the Murder Inc. items that have existed previously, but with a few changes. You can add poison to a meal or brew, especially with some of those big poisons. That's pretty crazy. Cursed Pit Fort lets you make meaty bits. Note, this is cheaper than the other meaty bits creation because it's only 1 mind to turn a raider or lineage into produce. So again, Murder Inc. is still best at making those things. But it's no longer like the only way to do it now. Hunter's Secret, for Gorgers, you can let other people extend, you can let people join your feast and become Gorgers along with you when you enter your feeding frenzy. And then the mini-face mask, of course, it doesn't break, everybody's cannibals now. Widow's Tea lets you kill yourself to get away, which love. You can spend call Widow's Escape over the next 4 hours. So if you know you're about to go in that really dangerous situation, make sure you have a way out. Because you can even use it while subdued. So like even if they're locked up or blinded or something, you can still get away. So Murder Inc. still remains the best assassins at getting away. Glass Stiletto moves into Murder Inc. items from a criminal item. This lets you reduce bleed out to 1 minute on a brawling strike with piercing strike. So again, more piercing strike love. Piercing strike continues to be a fantastic skill. And down surge. This one's a mean down surge, a Myth Hunter Blade for the Florentine. They have to spend 2 impact skills every time when they're down surged. Oof. Was a skill needed for Mini-Face Mask? I think it was Proficient Criminal. I'll go back and look at it in a minute. So, modify trap to another trigger type. This is really great if you want to do like a use the more dangerous traps in different ways. And Striker's Coat is now the armor that's in Murder Inc. This lets you kind of be immune to murder. You can defend. You can spend a resolve to stop a murder, and then you're immune to murder for 1 minute. So this is, but now it's only a Murder Inc. item. Big Hate lets you kind of do bane damage to lineages. It's spectacular too. Murder Inc. The Mini-Face Maths has basic skills. You need basic criminal and basic artisan to make it, and when you use proficient criminal influence. But you only need basic criminal influence to use it, so. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So, still easy to. And then the last one's the Al Buckaroo's Left Turn is now no longer an exotic weapon, but now a brew. This is like the old Thief's Brew, which mangles your legs, stuns, and blinds you, and can't be countered. Yeah, but these items are exclusive to the Brain Shredder Blade. When you kill them with a killing blow, they cannot restore that infection. It's just fantastic. It's how to make sure that guy stays dead. I think this is going to be kind of the weapon of choice for assassination runs, just to make sure they stay dead. Collection of heads lets you overwhelm on malicious discussion. Oof. And then this is probably one of the best traps I've seen, because you can do a 20 body murder on a door or a container, and it's like the best trap out there. So, because 20 body murder is going to kill a lot of people. And you can put that on one of those little tiny boxes you can carry with you. Yeah. Yep. And then the murder dive stays the same. You can go and make sure that that NPC doesn't get away. And then this one is a trap that you can't use precog to stop. Which is, especially when you have one of those items that has like 3 uses of traps on it. So you can make it a 20 body murder. They can't use precog to stop it, and they can do something that else terrible. Yeah, traps are back. So that is all of the blueprints that we have for this. You have weathered this 2.5 hours with me, so thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. I hope this was interesting. We kept 42 people this whole time, so apparently you guys wanted to see all this. So my last pitch for you is you can come get these blueprints in person at our national event in October. And we want to kind of invite you to remember that the last qualifiers here is that this is not all the prints. There's still other prints out there that haven't made the conversion yet. These prints will be available on the database soon, and probably after downfall. And we will have a lot of fun stuff for you planned at our national event. So we want you to come back out. I hope everybody enjoyed your time, and I'm gonna go.